Hi, my name is David Babcock, and I wrote a book about the Space Shuttle Challenger's disaster. And the book it may be kind of controversial, but it's about the disaster and about what happened. But it was my firsthand view about what happened. I was there when the shuttle went up. I was on a tugboat, and I climbed up the mast of the tugboat, and I could see the Space Shuttle Challenger sitting on the pad with binoculars, and I watched it go up and I watched it explode. It was a bad day. It was tragic, and it was real scary. But the book that I wrote tells a story about what may have been a cover up by NASA, because 2 years prior to the launch, I was working on a tugboat that was towing the space shuttle, towing the external tank for the space shuttle to California. And the trip was, it was a 30-day trip. We left out of New Orleans with this covered barge that the external tank was in, and they were going to do some launches in Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. So this is the second trip that I made. The first trip was maybe a couple months before that. But you go through the Panama Canal, around the coast and up to California. That's how you have to get there out of New Orleans. This one trip that we made with the external tank, we were out at sea for only like a day or so, and a storm came up, and we were in the area of the Bay of Campeche, going near Cuba and towards Panama. Well, we got in some pretty rough seas. They were really, really bad. And the seas were, God, 30, 40 footers. And believe me, I was scared for my life a couple of times. It was pretty nasty. You would go down one wave and you'd look up like a mountain, looking up at another swell coming at you. And we would go up and then just fall down behind the wave and smashing down. And I don't know if you've ever been out to sea, 40 footers. That was the first time I'd ever seen them that big. I did that for 10 years of my life. But anyway, we beat the barge to death. I mean, God, it was rough. And when we finally got to Panama, we were in the storm 2 or 3 days. And when we got to Panama, when I went on board the barge, you could see that the external tank for the space shuttle had fallen back and slammed and pinned itself against the back of the barge, and you could see pieces of the external tank for the space shuttle had fallen off, and it was beat up. And I can remember looking back on the trip, and that barge would go up and it would come down and it would shake and slam down and it would, it was rough. And so anyway, I found out later on in life that was the external tank that went up in the space shuttle launch. And my book tells tells the story, and it tells about what happened. And they blame the disaster on the rocket boosters leaking. They had one of the rocket boosters was leaking fuel, and then the fuel was coming out the side. And their investigation that NASA made revealed that the tank exploded because of a result of this. Well, I don't know if they fixed that tank or not. The one that I towed and I had worked on, I don't know if they fixed that tank or not. But if they didn't fix that tank, and if they didn't put that tank to some kind of test, that was the reason why the space shuttle blew up. Because that tank was ruined on that trip. And my book tells that story, and it's my opinion. I hope you like the reading, and you can pick up the link at the bottom of this page. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.